The porch light. He never turned off the porch light. Even now, 10 years after his divorce, it flickered faithfully each evening at dusk, as if waiting for someone to return. Henry had long since stopped expecting anyone to come. The light stayed on out of habit, a quiet ritual in his otherwise still life. Henry Prescott was 65, retired from his years in facilities management at the local college. His days were simple: coffee on the porch, crossword puzzles, and long walks with his Labrador, Gus. He'd grown used to the silence, not joyful, not depressed, just coasting in the strange gray comfort of solitude. He had stopped imagining surprises. So when a pale green SUV pulled into the driveway next door and a woman stepped out, younger, graceful in that confident way of someone who'd weathered storms but hadn't let them harden her, something inside Henry stirred. She was maybe 50, maybe a bit younger. Brown curls tucked behind her ears, practical jeans, and a calm, efficient manner as she unloaded boxes. Henry watched from behind his coffee cup, us at his feet. She spotted him. "Hi there." "I'm Emma, just moved in." "Henry," he replied, raising his mug. "Welcome. Need a hand?" She smiled. "Only if you're offering." He helped her carry in a few boxes, learned she worked remotely for a nonprofit, had lived upstate, divorced 6 years ago, no kids, a rescue cat named Tilly, a love for baking. She asked questions like they mattered, and he found himself answering honestly, almost eagerly. There was a lightness in her presence that drew him in without warning. Days passed and their interactions grew more frequent. Passing waves became full conversations. She brought banana bread. He fixed a loose railing. She laughed at his dry humor. He noticed the way her eyes lingered on the sky just before it got dark. One Sunday, she invited him over for soup. Too much for one, and I could use some company. They sat on her small back porch, bowls in hand, and talked as the wind rustled through the trees. It felt easy, natural, dangerous. Henry couldn't remember the last time he'd wanted anything more than peace. Now he wanted to know what made her sigh like that, what music she listened to when no one was around, whether she ever felt as alone as he did some nights. He began to doubt himself. Was she just being kind? Did she know how long it had been since someone looked at him that way? If anyone ever had. The idea that a woman like Emma could be interested in him seemed impossible, unreasonable, and yet trouble stirred the night his daughter Rachel visited. They sat on the porch. Emma had gone home, and Rachel, now 40 with 2 teens, had noticed the shift in her father. "She's sweet," Rachel said, sipping tea. "But, Dad, she's younger. You don't think she might be looking for something else?" "She's not like that." "Maybe not. Just be careful, okay? I'd hate to see you hurt." Her words planted doubt like thorns. That night, he didn't sleep well. Emma noticed the next day. "You seem quiet. Everything okay?" Henry hesitated. "My daughter visited. She had some concerns about us. Because I'm younger. It's not just that. I think she's worried I might be unrealistic." Emma looked away, her voice soft. "Do you think it's unrealistic?" Henry didn't answer at first. He stared at the porch light, the same light that had stayed on through every winter. "I didn't think something like this could happen again. Not for me." She reached across the space between them, her fingers brushing his. "Me neither." There was silence, then something shifted, like a gate opening quietly. Emma stood. "Come over tonight, dinner, just you and me. No explanations, no doubts. Let's just see what this is." Henry went home, showered, changed. He stood in front of his closet for 20 minutes, debating which shirt didn't make him look like someone trying too hard. That night, the house smelled like rosemary and something warm. Music played low, candlelight flickered softly. Emma wore a simple dress that made her look ageless. They ate, they talked, they lingered in the quiet. "You're not unrealistic, you're honest, steady, you make me feel safe. I didn't think I'd ever feel this way again, like I wanted to reach for someone, like it mattered." Emma stood slowly and held out her hand. He took it. They kissed in the doorway, tentative at first, then with the kind of hunger that only comes when something buried finally surfaces. She led him upstairs and he followed. Not like a man chasing youth, but like a man stepping into something earned, something rare. In the soft light of her room, their bodies spoke in a language older than fear. Clothes fell away gently. They moved carefully, exploring, not desperate, but deliberate. There was wonder in every kiss, every breath. It was not about perfection. It was about being present, about knowing that this might be the last first time. They fell asleep wrapped around each other, breath mingling. When Henry woke, the dawn was breaking, pale gold slipping through the curtains. He looked at her, at the softness of her face, the way her hand rested lightly against his chest. He thought the story was just beginning. But life, as ever, had its twists. A month later, Emma told him, they were sitting on the porch, his this time, watching the last of the fall leaves drift lazily to the ground. She reached for his hand and held it tightly. "Henry, there's something I need to tell you. I was going to wait, but I can't. Not now." He turned to her, concerned. "What is it?" Her eyes glistened. "I have early-stage ovarian cancer. It's treatable, but aggressive. I've known for a few months. I thought I'd face it alone, but then I met you." Henry felt the words like ice in his chest. She looked down. "I wasn't supposed to fall for anyone, not now." He squeezed her hand. "You're not alone." They faced it together, the treatments, the fatigue, the hair loss, the fear, and also the laughter, the dancing in the kitchen, the long, slow kisses under soft quilts. They made the days matter, each one. Their love burned brighter for knowing it would not last forever. She made him promise not to mourn too long, to remember her with the joy they'd found, not the sorrow they couldn't avoid. She passed away just after the first spring bloom, with Gus curled at her feet and Henry holding her hand. He buried her in a quiet spot near the lake she loved, and though the house next door grew still again, Henry didn't retreat into silence. He walked Gus. He tended her garden. He wrote letters to her when the ache got too sharp. And each evening, as the sun dipped low, he turned on the porch light. Not in grief, not in waiting, but in hope for the miracle of one more chance. The end.